Hello, family. Hello, friends. Oh man, it's so good for me to sit here and know that I'm going to be connecting with so many of you. I really need it. Life has been tough. It's had a lot of little bright spots along the way, but man, it's been a tough wrestling time. Let's see. First, I want to let y'all know that I got the results back from all the tests. I did get all those tests done for my heart and my lungs and my stomach, and all the blood work came back. All of it came back good. So that is so fantastic, because that means I can go forth with the transplant. I just heard all this on Friday, and today is Monday. And so it was sent off to insurance for approval, and that can take up to 2 weeks or so. So sometimes it takes less. So you can pray that God's timing would be perfect. You know, I would rather it sooner. Part of me wants it sooner because I want to get going. Part of me is scared to death. You know, just first of all, the logistics nightmare and of leaving our house and our dogs and finding a place there when we can't plan for it because we don't know when it's gonna be, you know, until the last minute. So that freaks me out. And also just the starting of the transplant, it's gonna be really hard on my body. So the first phase, I should just feel tired. That'll be okay. But when I get put into the hospital, which will be about 2 weeks after I start the outpatient, that's when it'll get more scary. So anyway, that's the great news. And I guess that's the most of the good, I mean, you know, like news and an update and a slight update on timing. Maybe we're in the last couple of weeks before we get started. It's just crazy. Who knew this would be so like this, sort of feeling like bureaucracy or something. But anyway, maybe they didn't prepare us well for that, for this kind of waiting. I think that's true. Anyway, a couple of big things that happened. The biggest thing that happened since I last talked to you was this. Since I discovered I had cancer, which was I discovered this in late April, I think, or early May, that the cancer had come back. I was really devastated for one reason. I mean, of course I was devastated about the cancer, but I was really devastated because my dad had been, his cancer had come back just a couple of months before that. It was determined that he had stage 4 cancer, and that there was really nothing left to do that was a viable treatment, you know, that made sense to do it. And so he was going to be in the last months, year, 2 years, nobody really knows, of his life. And so when I got my diagnosis, my heart was just crushed. Like, no, this isn't the time for me to get sick. You know, I had scleroderma, but I could travel. I had traveled to see Mom and Dad in March, and that had gone well. So, but with cancer treatment, I can't travel. I just felt so angry and just so frustrated. And so I kept just thinking, well, this is going to be over pretty soon. We're going to have a couple of rounds of the rice treatment, and then I'm going to get the stem cell transplant, and that's going to take 6 weeks, and then I'll be done. Well, now, sorry, I accidentally did something. And so I thought I would get this stuff done, and then I can go see Dad again. Well, this has dragged on, as you know, and it's gotten so frustrating. And in the last couple of weeks, Dad had a bad day. And I just thought, I felt so abandoned, not by Dad, maybe by God, by life. I felt this just horrible loneliness and emptiness. It was the morning, I had to get up super early, and so I was tired, which doesn't help. And I went to the echocardiogram, and I spent that echocardiogram, it was about 45 minutes, just so desolate, just so like, am I not gonna see my dad again? My dad. The man who was there for me since the very beginning. The man who was steady in my life, my daddy, with a quiet affection. How in the hell am I not going to see him again? And I just felt so weary, exhausted, trapped, but mostly desolate. And so I got out of the echocardiogram and read some more texts that said maybe Dad was just dehydrated, and so maybe it wasn't a turn. And so I got, a little bit better, but we ended that week of all those tests, and suddenly, like for the first time since I was diagnosed with cancer, we realized that that we had nothing in our lives, no appointments, no anything, no treatments, no lab work, no anything for at least the next week. And so I was weak, and I was just continuing to lose weight and needed to just like lay in bed and try not to burn any calories. But we just thought, we gotta go. We can go. We can go to Baton Rouge. We can see Mom and Dad. And I'll just lay low as I can. And so we did. Oh my gosh. It is hard, very hard to put into words what it meant to just be in my parents' what we call the parlor. It's just a really cozy room where we all sit and talk and watch the goings on out the front window and comment on the neighbors and stuff. And so just sitting there in the parlor, there's two big cozy chairs, and Dad would sit in one and I would sit in the other because we were the two invalids. And Mom would be coming in and out of the kitchen trying to feed us. And it was just so fantastic. And so just being in the presence of my parents was so wonderful. And Craig was there, and he's like their son. They're like his parents. It was also rich with relationship, and we comforted each other. One morning I just vented about all the losses I have felt and the fears that I have, and they just made space for me to do that and listened so well and comforted me. And Dad had periods where he was having this pain that has nothing to do with cancer. It's just terrible. But he would be having his pain, and I would get to comfort him. So my soul is gladdened. I need to keep meditating on that because I've really been depressed the last couple of days. So that takes me to my depression. I think because, so we went to Baton Rouge and we got home midweek, and then we had a couple of engagements, and they were really wonderful. And then Saturday and Sunday was just like back to limbo, and I don't know. I think it's like all this time has given me sort of a like perspective on, it's like I suddenly have time to breathe, all the way back to when my scleroderma started. I've just been in a survival mode, and now I'm just kind of realizing everything that's happening. And the main thing, I think, is I'm just afraid of scleroderma, the losses that I have with it right now. What if God doesn't, what if it's not his will to return those freedoms to my body? And they're really hard. I mean, so you know about my hands, but I don't know if I've talked about them in a while. These Band-Aids are on some sores that just never heal, and they just stay there, and they hurt a lot. When I move my fingers, definitely if they get banged, even with a Band-Aid. So those don't heal. It's kind of gross, but meh. Okay, they're like that. They have this red ring around them, a scab, and a deep scab, and they're just, oh, the nerve endings must be millions. And then my joints in my hands they just hurt to move them. And so I feel grateful, like I've been trying to be independent, and I can be. It just hurts. You know, with my hands, I can't do things that require, you know, like flat fingers all together. I mean, even if I try to push crumbs onto my hand is so flat, they just fall off and they fall through the cracks in my fingers. Can't quite get them together. And then just rubbing my head, it doesn't work. I can't flatten my fingers. So I have to just, you know, use the tips of my fingers and to wash my hair, or my head, and stuff like that. I'm a little disabled with my hands, but it's mainly the pain. The stiffness causes the disability, but the stiffness also is part of the pain. So that, you know, I can write for a while, but and it depends on the time of day or whatever. I don't know why, but sometimes I can write. This morning, I wrote all of that. But then my hand just gets so painful and I can't do it anymore. And then typing, I'm learning to type with the hands I have, but it's, I make mistakes a lot because I can't control my fingers very well. And so, you know, but I could live with that, I think, if I didn't have the pain in my hands. One of the things I just feel so sorrowful about, and it just makes life so challenging, is my stomach. And so I am, sorry, I was checking the clock. It's hard. Every day is hard to eat. It's hard to eat because my stomach is always a bit upset. Always. It is always a little nauseated and feels full. I can get a little hungry sometimes. And so, I mean, and I eat on a schedule basically. And, wait a minute. One thing that has changed, I hope I can continue this, but did I tell you that I'm eating real food instead of those nutrition drinks, Ensure and Boost? Oh, it was ruining my life. It was so horrible. Oh, it was truly, I look back and I just think, how in the world how did I endure that? I would wake up and think, I have to go start drinking the Boosts. And that's what I would do all day. And it was horrible. Oh my gosh, they tasted bad and they were hard to get down, created lots of unhappy stomach. And so anyway, now I figured out how to put enough calories and protein in a smoothie that has as many as Boost and more protein. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so wonderful. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you. And so it's allowed me to eat with Craig. I have 2 smoothies a day and I have lunch and dinner. And it's scary every time I eat. 2 days ago, I was eating lunch and I was like, gosh, this just isn't going down like the other days. Whoa, I feel like I'm really having to force this. And then I ended up losing my lunch. And it's just, it's hard, y'all. I was able to go to a birthday dinner and eat a sandwich at this place, and it didn't upset my stomach until the middle of the night, which was great. I got to sit. I was so tired. Energy is still a major problem, but I sat there and I was with people, and I was able to eat and not go with a boost in my hand. So I'm eating solid food and I feel like a human being again. But my stomach, oh, if y'all would just pray for healing of my stomach. Dr. Mays, my scleroderma specialist, said that she has not seen improvement in gastrointestinal things with scleroderma with a stem cell transplant. That was so devastating for me to hear. And yet, I believe that God is all powerful. So here goes my struggles. I do believe God is all powerful. I mean, what the heck? If there is a God and he made this universe, well, what? And I put my faith in the scriptures, which say that the power of God raised Jesus from the dead. God can heal my stomach. So, like this morning, I didn't bring it with me, but I have this little book my sister gave me so long ago in my 20s. And I found it and I picked it up lately because it's called The Checkbook of the Bank of Faith by Charles Spurgeon. And the whole concept is that, so he puts a scripture at the top of the page, and then he talks about it and how it's something we can put our faith in, like it's a check that you write on the bank of God, something like that. So this scripture was, call upon me in the day of trouble. I'm in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and you shall glorify me. So I'll take up the these and thous. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. So I read that this morning. I was outside in my LSU rocking chair. There's lots of good wind this morning, and that was good because it was already, it was only 82 degrees. It's gonna be 105 today. But it was still kind of warm, but I was kind of under the crepe myrtle, and it was all so beautiful. I was trying to open my heart to happiness, just feeling so, my thoughts have been so negative lately and just critical and agonizing, and it's like my worst self. It's a natural thing for me, and I guess you could say it's my flesh, which, you know, scripture talks about as kind of this old part of me that isn't like the new part of me that just completely trusts in God. This new part of me that is born of the Spirit isn't like the flesh, which is the old person. And my old person is very angsty, and I've really been struggling against the flesh in these last few weeks. There's a lot of time, you know, for me to just sit around and try to battle. and gain the Spirit. But one thing I was talking to God about this morning was, Lord, and I would call him by kind of my affectionate name for him. It's a daddy kind of name. Anyway, I'm too embarrassed to say it. Or I don't want to, you know, it's just between me and God. But anyway, I was telling him, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to, I'm still in this period of not knowing what you're gonna do. Ah! Hello. Okay, I still have some time. But I'll try to not take too much longer. I'm in this period, and it's gonna be for another 6 months, where I'm not sure what you have in mind, Lord, what you want to do for me, how you want to deliver me and glorify yourself. I don't know. And I'm asking. So you want me to keep asking in this period of time? I'm asking that you would heal my hands and heal my stomach and my legs. I can walk pretty agile. I can dance not the way I used to, but I can dance. If I had to live with my legs, I could do that. They're pretty stiff, you know, but anyway. And my face, I don't know, there's, you know, just parts of my stiff mouth that I know are not my old self, and maybe that could soften up. I know one lady said after her stem cell transplant, oh shoot, I'm sorry y'all, so sorry. Why is it doing that all of a sudden? Let me reinforce here. Oh, hope that doesn't fall and break. Anyway, this lady said she got her, look how flat. Oh, so weird. Anyway, she said she got her wrinkles back. And my face, you know, has been so taut, but not myself. And I just would love to gain weight back. And if I get wrinkles, that'll be great. So every day I wake up and it's so hard because all the stiffness is there. My hands, they're like this. And my face, I yawn in bed as I'm waking and it's tight. And I'm so afraid that overnight I've been losing my smile. Like maybe I can't, you know, get it wide enough, and, you know, and I don't feel hungry. My stomach feels unsettled. And so it's tough. And I so want the stem cell transplant to do some regression on my scleroderma. And I know y'all know that. No, I don't know that you know the specifics. Probably I've talked about it, but maybe not specifically enough. Like, I don't know about regression of these things. And so I'm asking God, and I do believe that God intervenes in this world. And so call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. I'm just asking that would be some real changes in my body. And of course, the healing of the cancer. But I also know that Jesus said, "Thy will be done." And I told the Lord, that is so hard for me to say right now. I'm sorry. That's where I am right now. Please work in me. The Spirit of Jesus is in me. He is my brother, and he said, "Thy will be done." And I'm just praying that he can help me to get there. Let's see. So I also feel like I have some healing of trauma that needs to happen. I have sort of a bit of flashbacks, like, of just the feeling trapped in the MRI, and it kind of, it flashes when I think of different things like death, and just trying to travel for some reason feels like a trapped thing. And so pray for me in that also. Just my emotional healing, emotional and mental. So that's where I am. Craig is hanging in there. He is a man of endurance. I mean, it's one of his gifts. He's such a man of integrity that he will endure in doing what's right. And I just pray that he gets renewal week by week, you know, day by day. And so would y'all pray for him? We continue to encourage each other in special ways, you know, ways we were too busy to do before. And that's a real gift too. So I love you all. I love your family. I love you, friends. I'd like to name all the groups, you know. I love you, church. But that might get a little silly. So we'll be in touch. I'm trying to think anything I should say. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I don't know why, but it's a thing on YouTube. So let's see. And I'll be posting this on CaringBridge. Maybe that's where you found me. Anyway, love you. Bye.